especially valuable right now. For those of you who are having that quiet time thrust upon you, I imagine that it can feel a little bit uncomfortable at times. So this practice today is designed to help us all find peace with that space, find peace with that quietness. So we're going to begin the practice lying on our backs, just grounding, landing, centering in ourselves and tuning in with the breath. So I'm going to get you into a reclined goddess pose, and if you have blocks or cushions, you might want to place them underneath your knees for support. And then you want to bring your feet to touch, the soles of your feet to touch, and just allow your whole body to drop onto the ground and land. You can keep your arms spread out to the side, or you can rest your hands on your belly just to feel into the breath. Take a couple of landing exhales, breathing in deeply, and then just let it go. Like you're steaming up a window with an AH sound. Just breathe in and let it go. Try that one more time. And as you let go of the breath, perhaps try and let go of any tension in your body. Breathe out, let go of the tension in the jaw, the shoulders, the hips, the belly, the hands. And I'm going to allow you to rest here for just a moment while you really start to sense into the breath, the natural breath. Can you breathe in? Know that you're breathing in. Breathe out, know that you're breathing out. Notice the length of the breath on each inhale and exhale. And notice where you're breathing. Where do you feel the breath? Notice if there's any tension in the body that might restrict the breath from moving into certain areas. Just gently invite that area to soften. And then can you notice the pause? You notice the pause in between the breath. Breathing in, there's a pause. And then breathing out, there's a pause. Notice the texture of the breath as it begins to breathe in and as it approaches the pause. You might notice an excitement, an expansion, and then just before you get to the pause, there's a relaxation. And that relaxation prepares you for the exhale as you let go. And you feel perhaps things relax as you exhale. And then at the end of the breath, at the pause, there might be just a slight contraction, a preparation for the next inhale. Notice the pause acts as preparation. It's not dead space, it's creative space. And perhaps you might want to elongate that pause just to notice it, just to rest in it a little bit more. We don't often allow ourselves this period of quiet stillness. Usually we fill our spare time and our moments of pause with something else we can do, our busyness. But while we're being busy, perhaps we're not noticing. Whatever school of meditation you might have practiced in the past, usually they boil down to the idea of finding the stillness and the centeredness within yourself. So you might be better able to discern what's true. There's insight when you allow yourself the quiet time to pause. Viktor Frankl, who was a Holocaust survivor and became a psychotherapist, said that between every stimulus and every reaction there is a space. And in that space we have a choice. That choice is how we respond. And how we respond to that stimulus, how we act from that stimulus, is the seat of our growth and our learning. So we might be in a bit of a pause right now, but it can allow us this choice. Do we treat all of this uncertainty as something to be fearful of? Or do we treat it as space to create? Like the artist's blank canvas, or the trees that lie bare in winter before they're ready to grow. Activity in the action of the inhale and the exhale. But the breath neither fears the pause in between. It trusts that simply preparation for the next movement. Okay, loves, we're going to gently bring both knees to center, and then open up your arms so that they are spread out to the side like a T shape or crucifix. And then drop your knees over to the left-hand side. You don't have to allow your knees to drop all the way to the earth. You can rest them on the cushion, and that might allow a little bit more stabilization in the hips. Take your gaze to the right hand, glance to the right hand. Then breathe in as you reach above your head, reaching that right hand to come and meet the left hand. And then exhale. Can you circle that right hand over the top of your head, drawing a rainbow on the floor until it returns back to your T shape? Try that again. Breathing in, clamming your palms shut till it reaches your left hand. And then exhale, allow an unfurling as your arms open back into a T shape. 3 more times and try and enjoy the pause between the breath. Inhale to touch your hand and then pause. And then circling all the way over your head and then pause. Inhale, reaching over and then pause. And then circling overhead and pause. One more time. Clamming shut. Pause. Circling around and pause. And then allow your knees to raise back up to the center and follow it through all the way to the other side. Allow your shoulders to both melt into the ground. Then take a deep breath in as the left arm rises to close over the right hand. And then inhale, circling all the way back and pause. Inhale to close, pause. Exhale to open, pause. 3 more times. And just follow the breath. Allow the fullness of the breath to guide the fullness of the movement. Try not to speed through the movement so that you're left with breath. Try and take your time so that you can smooth out and deepen the breath. And then when you've come back to, finished your 5, coming back to the center, and then stretching your left leg out in front of you, you're going to come into a reclined tree position. So your right knee is going to drop out towards the side with the sole of your right foot pressing into your inner thigh. Then reach both of your hands up above your head, holding your left wrist with your right hand. And then, like your bending tree, can you start to stretch the left hand over towards the right hand side of the mat? And if you wish to deepen it, you can even bring your left foot over to the right hand side of the mat. So you're creating a little bit of a banana shape. But from here, can you feel the breath encouraging an elongation in the spine? So as you breathe in, can you reach and stretch from the soles of the feet to the top of the crown? And as you exhale, perhaps you can soften into the bend. Inhale, find that elongation and that expansion. Then watch the pause as you're at its summit. And then prepare to relax all the way back down to the diaphragm. And pause before the next breath rises. Take 2 more breaths here, and you might imagine this as your standing pose with roots reaching out of the soles of your feet into the earth to stabilize you, the strong trunk of your left leg, and the long branches of your arms as they lightly expand into the space above you. And then coming back to the center, both knees to the center. Take a breath to just notice the difference from one side to the next. And then stretching the right foot out in front of you to make your trunk, and dropping the left knee out to the side, sole of the left foot pressed against your inner thigh. Holding the right wrist, taking a deep breath in to lengthen and elongate, and then exhale, draw that hand over to the left side. Deepening, if you wish, with your right foot reaching over to the left side. Again, watch for the breath and the pause. But you might also enjoy the texture of the stretch along the whole side of the body. Notice the breath. Notice how the breath moves the body. One more breath. And then come back to center, both knees to the sky. Can you reach your hands up above your head until you find your knees? You're probably going to need to lift your feet off the ground so that you can hold your knees with your hands. And then squeezing your knees into your chest, you're going to begin to rock and roll ever so slightly. Rocking up and down and using the breath to find that lovely transition before you rock back and forward. A pause just between each swing. So you're going to gain a little bit of momentum, and then you're eventually going to get a little bit of momentum so that you can swing up into a squat position. So your feet will be a little bit wider, but mat distance apart. So one last swing if you're not there already. Ooh, ha. I'm going to pivot round so that I can see you at the front of the mat. Your toes are going to be pigeoned out. And if you feel like you're either dropping too far forward or your knees are buckling inwards or you can't get your heels to the ground, perhaps take your blocks or take your books and place them underneath your heels so that you can find a little bit more length and elevation in the spine, trying to come into a vertical spine. Elbows to your inner thighs, hands to your heart, and then use the pressure of your hands to open up the thighs a little bit. Can you notice that horizontal line? Can you also notice a vertical line from your hands through your center? I want you to try and draw your hands down a little bit and rise your heart above your hands so you can find a lovely stretch in the spine. Keep space in the back of the neck and breathe in 3 more breaths. Watching the length as you breathe in and a softness in your hips open as you let go. And then placing your hands onto the earth. Take a deep breath in. Can you wing your arms out to the left hand side, taking your gaze to your left fingertips and using your right arm to broaden that hip flexor. And then back to your heart center. And then use your left arm to open up your hip as your right arm reaches up to the sky. And then back to the center. A breath 3 more times each side. Opening and closing. Opening and closing. Opening, closing. Right side. One last time as you open on the inhale. And then the left side as you open. And then back to the center. Allow your tailbone to rise as you heel toe your feet hip distance apart and drop your head forward. Soft knees. Allow your head to drop heavy to the earth and your hands to drape towards the ground. You can swing from side to side for a moment like an elephant searching for food with its trunk on the ground. Just to allow the head and the neck to drop and the spine to soften. And then imagining that you're holding a great ball of light between your hands, a sort of football-sized ball of light. Can you draw your body over towards the right-hand side and start to carry that ball of light over the side and up above your head? And then full circle as it drops down the left all the way back down towards the earth. 3 more times. Allow the circle to be led by your armpit. So there's loads of space in the armpit. And use the breath to guide the movement. A gentle pause before you decline. And preparation before you rise. 1 more time to drop to the earth. And then a little counter swing before you come back the other side, lifting through the left armpit as you carry that ball of light over your head. With soft knees, you drop to the side. So it's not just an up and down movement, it's a 360-degree circle that finds a bit of space in the side of the body as well as the spine. Let's take 2 more of these luscious big circles with your breath. And then hold your hands above your head and drop your hands to your belly. Okay. Can you come to the top of your mat if you're not there already? And we're going to go through a few sun salutations before we get into the flow. But to prepare, can you take your blocks, if you wish to have them, at the front of the mat and remove any of the cushions that are in the way. So at the front of the mat, standing in Tadasana, or a slightly softer stance with bent knees and a long tailbone dropping to the earth. Take a deep breath in to reach your hands to the heavens. And then exhale, fold forward to touch the earth and pause. Breathing in to lengthen. Exhale to fold. Inhale, push down through your left foot, stretch your right foot behind you and pause. Exhale, push your hands into the earth, push through your right foot, move your left foot to downward dog and pause. Inhale, push through your toes, reaching forward into plank and pause. Exhale, drop your knees to the ground, prepare to dive your chest in front of your hands and pause. Inhale, slither your nipples forward, push through your hands, lift your heart and pause. Exhale, push through your hands, move the tailbone back, tuck your toes, downward dog and pause. Inhale, stepping the right foot forward and pause. Exhale, push through the right foot, step the left foot forward and pause. Inhale, soften the knees and gather your arms up to the sky. Hold that ball of light again. And then exhale, draw that ball of light in towards your belly. On the other side, breathing in, reach your arms all the way to the sky. Exhale, fold forward, touch the earth and pause. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, stepping your left foot back into lunge and pause. Exhale, push through your hands, move the right foot back, down dog and pause. Inhale, push through your toes, reaching forward to plank and pause. Exhale, drop through your knees, lower your chest in front of your hands and pause. Inhale, slither forward, lengthen to cobra and pause. Exhale, push through your hands to child's pose, tuck your toes, downward facing dog and pause. Push through your right foot, squeeze that left foot to the front of the mat and pause. Exhale, bring the right foot to meet and fold. Inhale, gather up that ball of light, hold it above your head. Exhale, bring that light back into your belly and pause. JIVAMUKTI, Surya Namaskara. Can you soften the knees, hook your thumbs in front of your body. Inhale, open the heart to the heavens and pause. Exhale, fold forward, bring your hands behind your body and open up the hands into a fist above your head and pause. Inhale, root your hands into the ground, push through your left foot as your right foot steps back to long lunge and pause. Exhale, send the left foot back to downward facing dog and pause. Inhale, push forward through your feet to plank and pause. Exhale, push your heels backwards and your elbows backwards as your skull reaches forward through press and pause. Then push your head forward, push through your hands to lift your pubic bone and heart high and pause. Roll over your toes, push through your hands, down dog and pause. Inhale again, push through your heels to plank and pause. Drop your knees, drop your chest and chin and pause. Inhale, slither forward and open to cobra, pause. Push through your hands, seat to your heels, downward facing dog and pause. Push through your left foot as your right foot steps forward to lunge and pause. Push through your right foot as your left foot moves to meet and pause. Soften the knees, hook your thumbs, rise your heart to the heavens and pause. Exhale, other side, folding forward over soft knees, hands behind your body into a fist and lengthen. Inhale, hands to the mat, step your left foot back to low lunge and pause. Root your hands into the ground, push your hands down as you come back to down dog and pause. Inhale, push through your heels as you reach your skull forward to plank and pause. Elbows and heels push back as your skull reach forward to press and pause. Pushing forward, lifting up to up dog and pause. Roll over your toes, downward facing dog and pause. Inhale, coming forward again to plank and pause. Knees, chest and chin. Slither forward to cobra. Push back to your child's pose, tuck your toes, down dog. Step your left foot between the hands. Bring the right foot to meet. Hook your thumbs, soften the knees, reach your hands and your heart to the heavens. And then bring your hands back down to your belly. And take a breath to pause. Surya Namaskara B. Bringing your toes to touch, reach your hands in front of you, coming into Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen to a flat back. And then exhale, either jump or step back to your plank and lower through press and pause. Ripple forward into your up dog and pause. Roll back to your down dog and pause. Press through your left foot, step your right foot forward and rise to your warrior one. Pause. And then root your hands back down to the earth. Push, step back to plank and lower. Inhale, pushing up into up dog. Roll back into downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward, lower your back heel to the earth, rise, warrior one. Exhale, hands to the earth. Push through your hands and step back through plank to lower. Reaching your skull forward, push through your hands, up dog. Roll over your toes, downward facing dog. Take 5 breaths in here. And just enjoy the sensation of the breath. Enjoy the sensation of circulation and taking a moment to rest. One more deep breath, everybody. And then deeply bend your knees, send your knees out to the side and push your hands forward as your heels push away, preparing to spring forward or hop to the front of the mat. Come into a forward fold. And then rise up, coming back into your Tadasana. Hands to the belly. Take a breath and root down. You can stay at the front of your mat, and I'm just going to demonstrate the beginning of this next sequence by facing you. So to begin with, can you soften into the left knee Actually, tell you what, can we soften in to, yes, to the left knee? I'll mirror you. And then rise your fingers up and your knee up. So you're coming into a crane. Allow yourself to just pause and find your balance there. And you're going to come into your tree position. So pick a point to gaze at. See if you can find stillness. If you wish, you can bring your foot to your shin or your ankle. And you can change your hand position as well. So your hands can be in front of your heart, or you can take a mudra with your hands in the sky like branches. Or if you wish, you can come back to your bending tree, reaching your right fingertips to the side and your left fingertips overhead to the side. A tree in the wind that's well rooted will bend but never break. Take a breath in here, raise your knee and come back into your crane. And then can you step that foot all the way back, coming into a warrior one, rooting your right heel to the ground. Now adjust that warrior one so that your hands are reaching forward slightly in one straight line from your heel to your fingertips. And can you really feel the back edge of the left foot, of the right foot, rooting into the ground? Fingertips reach forward. Take 3 breaths in here as you lengthen through the crown. Enjoying the pause in between. One more breath. Breathing in, breathing out. And then opening out into your warrior two. Take 5 breaths in your warrior two and see if you can bring a little bit of softness to the arms. And as you soften the arms, you might use the breath to feel an expansion in every direction. So as you breathe in, your fingernails grow. You exhale, you sink and soften. Rooting down into the earth to begin the breath. And then exhale, sinking in the earth to finish it. Notice before you breathe in, there can be a little bit of pressure into the earth as you root down. And then as you finish the exhale, there's a sinking into the earth as you yield. Inhale, coming into your Exalted Warrior. Press into those front toes and reach your top fingertips away. And then spiraling your right elbow to your your left elbow to your left knee and reaching your hand forward to extended side angle. Now for a moment, can you just drop that right hip forward so that your body's square towards the mat, and feel how that might help you press down through your back heel and lengthen all the way through to your fingertips. Push through the feet and every point of contact, and then push through the left arm as you encourage the heart to open, and you can look under your armpit perhaps with a little bit more length now. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And as you breathe in, you might feel like there's a lengthening as you extend from the heel to the fingers. And then looking at your front leg, can you straighten your front leg and place your left foot onto the shin? Pressure through the feet and pressure through the left hand as you rise up into your Trikonasana. 5 breaths here, and imagine that breath radiating outwards. Radiating from the hands and the feet, the top of the skull and the tailbone. Expanding in every direction as you radiate on the inhale, and then contracting back to your navel center on the exhale. 2 more breaths here. And then look to the front of the mat. Place your hands both to the front of the mat. And you can lower your back knee if you wish. Raise your arms up into a lunge. And then bring your hand to your center. And you're going to take a twist to the left hand side. Now, if you want to rise up into the ground, try to think first of all by pushing into the earth with your front foot and your back toes until you feel that engagement in your hips. Then push, rise, and elevate. 3 more breaths in here. Root down into the earth and pause. After your 5th breath, take your gaze back to the front of the mat. Bring your hands to the front of the mat and step your back foot about 1/3 or halfway, coming into your fallen triangle. If you wish to take blocks either side of your front foot, feel free to grab those now. Then square your foot, lengthen the spine on the inhale, and then exhale. Yield to the earth. You can allow a soft bend in the back knee, and that might help you lower a little bit deeper in towards your front thigh. And then just watch the breath. Watch on the inhale as you press into the earth with your hands and your feet and expand. And then pause. For there is a release and a yield and a sinking all the way to the ground and the edge of the exhale as you pause. Contracting the diaphragm as you prepare to expand, to lengthen, to engage and to grow. Rest. And then let go. Release. Sink, and then at the edge of the exhale, contract to prepare. I'm going to come forward now into your standing split. So if you wish, you can keep the blocks there and lift your back leg up into the sky. If you want to play a little bit with the balance of the standing leg, you can bring your hands to your ankles. Or if you wish to pop up into a handstand or just try a few bunny hops, then please make sure that you have lots of space, no pets ready to fall on or sharp metal objects nearby. So just try one more breath here. And then exhale. And then you're going to walk your left foot forward in front of your left hand forward in front of your left foot. You can take your blocks if you wish to, or you can keep your hand on the floor. And then you're going to open up into your half moon. So encourage that top hip to unfurl and open with your hand if you wish. And then you might want to encourage your heart to unfurl with your hand. And then bring that top hand to the sky. Deep breath in here. And then you're going to curl into a little ball. Reach that back foot behind you. You can balance, or you can drop the toes onto the ground as you crouch. Pause there. And then the next inhale, push through your standing foot and your hand as you reach back into your moon. Twice more. Unfurl. This is going to be really firing up the glutes. Pause as you crouch and contract. And then inhale as you expand and you reach. Pause. As you release, contract. And then lower yourself to the ground. Feel good to sit down? Okay, I'm going to shuffle forward, show you, but you can stay at the front of the mat. Taking a seated spinal twist. You want to wrap your right arm around your left leg and reach your left hand behind you to find a little bit of elevation. Now, if you want to take a full bind underneath your leg or take a traditional hook with your elbow in front, that's absolutely fine. But I'm also going to invite you the opportunity to place your right hand on your heart and soften the heart. Take 5 breaths in here. So by softening the heart, we stop that posture that prepares us for danger. Puffed up, assertive chest. And a soft heart can allow us to come back to center, back to ourselves, back to what's true. Okay, release. Give yourself a little counter pose to the other side. And then unfurl a little bit, and you're going to come into a fire log position. Now, there's a few options. If you've got very tight glutes, you might want to place a cushion underneath your knee, left knee, or you might want to place your left shin in front of your right shin. Or otherwise you can stack your knees over your ankles and vice versa. But try and make sure that they're aligned. And then take a deep breath in, and then exhale, rolling over your shins. Start to walk your fingers forward. Inhale, feel a little ripple in the spine as you rise. Walk your hands a little bit further forward and fold. And try 3 more breaths like that as you expand and lengthen and ripple on the inhale, and then release and fold. And then unfurl. Going to come into a cross-legged Navasana, and then swing your hands to the front of the mat. And you can either hop or step or skip, or take a handstand variation through Chaturanga. Or if you don't want to take Chaturanga, you can just rest in Downward Dog or Child's Pose. Okay, take a deep breath in here. Exhale, let it all go in Downward Facing Dog. Just notice the difference between one side and the next. Just take a moment of pause. If Down Dog feels too strong for you right now, you also have the option to come into a Child's Pose and just enjoy the moment. A lot of activity on one side, and there will be activity on the other side in just a moment. Just take a moment to notice. Okay, if you're in Child's Pose, come back into your Downward Facing Dog. And then again, starting to really push into the hands, send your tailbone back, and spring or step your feet to the front of the mat. Lengthen, and then fold, and then rolling back up to your Tadasana. Preparing for the other side. So sinking this time into your right foot. Reach your left knee up to crane. And then opening out into tree. Taking your foot to your thigh, your shin or your toes to the ground. Take a moment of stillness, a point of focus. And choose your hand position, heart, heavens, or bending tree. You feel yourself wobble. Try not to become brittle and resist it. Just allow yourself to soften and sink like your roots were just growing a little bit deeper. Bend and sway, but and have a break. And then coming back to your crane. And then reaching that left foot all the way to the back of the mat, coming into your warrior one, and then reaching your hands a little bit forward to a variation where your back heel is in one straight line to the top of the skull, fingers forward. 5 breaths in total here, breathing in fully, and then letting go. Breathing in and release. One more breath. And then push down through the front foot, opening up into your warrior two. Softness in the elbows. And a radiating breath from the navel center all the way to the edge. Expand on the inhale. Enjoy that expansion as it prepares you to soften and sink. One more breath. And then coming into Exalted Warrior, reach that front knee forward, root your front toes into the earth as your top hand stretches behind you, and then spiral all the way to rest your right elbow on your right knee and your front fingertips to your extended side triangle. Drop the left hips for a moment and really push down through those back heels. Feel an engagement and a lengthen through the whole side of your body. Then look under your armpit by pushing down through your elbow, expanding the heart. Just a couple more breaths here. And use that breath to root and rise, to expand and to yield. And then take your gaze to your front toes as you straighten your front leg. Press down into your shin with your right hand. And as you push into your feet, you rise to your Trikonasana. 5 breaths, expanding from the navel center all the way to the edges of your fingers, toes, the crown of the head and the tailbone. And then after your 5th breath, take your gaze to the front. Root your hands to the earth, bending your back knee to the ground if you wish. Rising your hands to the heavens, bringing them to your heart, and then twisting as you hook your left elbow over your front knee. If you want to rise your back leg here, first of all, push into your toes and feel that engagement travel through into your hips. Then when it reaches your hips, begin to push into your hands and elevate. If you can square your hips here at all, that might help with that hugging in of the inner thighs. Really feel like with every inhale, you are rooting down a little bit deeper into the earth. And then with every exhale, you just yield into it. Okay, one last breath. Hands to the earth or onto your blocks. Halfway step or 3rd step, your back foot forward, straighten your front leg and come to your fallen triangle. Allow a lengthening on the inhale and a yielding on the exhale. Pause and enjoy the preparation. And then your variation, either coming into a handstand or a standing split, hands to blocks or hands to your ankle. First of all, the left hip is dropped. Your hips should be square facing towards the mat. They'll open up when we come into moon. So for the time being, Allow the left hip to drop and the inner thighs to hug towards each other. There's a pressure in through the toes and the hands, and that pressure can allow a sense of elongation. If you're in a handstand now, you can come back to your standing split. Reach your right hand forward, either onto the earth or onto your blocks, and begin to unfurl that top hip to the sky, taking your hand to gently encourage an opening, perhaps encouraging an opening in the heart as well, and then let those arms rise. If you wish, you can take your gaze with you. Imagine that radiating with the breath. Next exhale, curl into a little ball. Reach that back leg behind you, and you can drop the toes to the ground if you wish, or you can hover them in the sky for a little bit of extra work. Enjoy that burn in the glutes. Yeah, one more time. Push into your feet, push into your hands, unfurl, and then curl all the way back down to the earth. Coming into your seated spinal twists. Using your right hand behind you to lengthen your left elbow in front of your knee. And then you can soften the heart by placing the palm of your hand into your chest. Just take a moment. You're sitting down, you're grounding down. Come back to the breath. Become centered and still. And then release, coming into a fire log on the other side. You might find that this side is different to the others, so if you had blocks or support or one variation on one side, you can have another variation on this side. Just choose whichever feels right, but make sure your knees and your heels are stacked. And then lengthen on the inhale and release as you fold forward. Breathing in fully. Breathing out, let go. Expand and ripple, elongate on the inhale. And then release and soften. One more breath. And slowly unfurl. Cross your legs into Navasana and either step or hop back to your downward facing dog. Take a rest or chaturanga, and we'll all meet again in downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward into your plank. You feel a pressure through the hands, a pushing back through the heels, and a reaching forward through the top of the skull, a wrapping of the intercostal muscles. The rib cage wraps around, so your belly's drawing in. And you're going to really, really, really slowly lower yourself all the way down to the mat, touching the earth. Okay, can you reach your toes behind you, lengthen the legs, lift the the right leg up and then lower, lift the left leg up, elongate, and then lower. Sorry, I'm probably coming out of camera's view now. Start to shoot the skull forward and lengthen the top of the head, the crown of the head away from the neck, and then lower. And then, like you're being pulled in both directions, a tug of war with the skeleton, with the spine, lengthen the head and the heart. Reach your hands behind you, swing your hands and maybe take them into a fist if you wish. reaching your fist behind you. And then with your toes pointed, can you reach your toes away from you as your thighs begin to elevate? 3 more breaths here. And really feel like you're using the whole of the breath. And then when you've done your full breaths, you release your head to the side, your hips a little wriggle from side to side. You're going to come up into your wheel, and you're bending your knees to your bow pose, and flexing your toes. Can you start to lengthen that skull away from your shoulders again? Lengthen through the head. Keep lengthening, keep lengthening, keep lengthening. Try not to bend, try and lengthen away. And then when you feel like your back muscles are engaged, then you can reach your hands off the earth and see if you can find your ankles without switching from side to side. And then start to kick into your hands. Start to pull into your ankles. And use that tension to take 5 breaths in your bow pose. So if you imagine a bow filled with tension to shoot an arrow in a surefire line, it's the tension that gives it power and space. So you kick into your hands and you pull into your ankles. That's going to elevate you, it's going to let you rise. One last breath and maybe bring a little bit of a smile. So that softens the shoulders. And then release. Drop your head to the other side. Wriggle your hips from side to side. Take a deep breath in. And then let it pause, let it go. Rolling over, coming onto your back now. Time's really running away. It takes a lot longer to communicate through demonstrating on YouTube. So bring your arms alongside your body, touching your heels, knees to the sky. Feel a lengthening in the spine. And then on the next inhale, press through your feet, press through your arms and your hands, and use that engagement to find a lovely elevation, lifting through the pubic bone. You can keep your hands here rooting into the ground, or if you wish you can interlace your fist. Take 5 breaths here. Trying to breathe through the whole body. Watch it begin in the base of the diaphragm. Travel through the belly, the ribs, the heart and the shoulders. And then lower yourself back down to the ground. I'm going to come up again, and you can stay in bridge pose. If you want a more restorative option, you can place your cushions or your blocks underneath your tailbone and just allow the natural gravity to let your tailbone, let your sacrum drop into the earth. Or you have the option to come into a full wheel. So if you're going to come into wheel, take time to pause between the lift so that you can really pay attention to what you're pressing into, what you're rooting down into. Hands around your shoulders, palms into the earth, and take a moment with your head on the ground. Then root your hands into the earth, feel your toes press into the earth. And instead of trying to reach up, can you push down? Can you push down through your hands and your feet? If you're there, or if you're in bridge pose, or if you're in supported bridge, take 3 more breaths. And transition out of it, nice and slowly. Remove any blocks or supports if you're in a bridge pose so that you're flat on the floor. Let your feet come to mat distance apart. And then just windscreen wiper your knees from side to side. Let them release. And then bring your left foot to center, left knee points towards the sky, cross your right knee over your left knee. Pick up your hips and bring them to the right side of the mat and drop your knees over to the left. Taking your gaze over the right shoulder. Enjoying a twist for a few breaths. Using the exhale to release. And the inhale like a little massage. Getting into all the tight spots. And then come to the other side, unfurl. Place your right foot down, cross your left knee over the right knee. Pick your hips and place them on the left side. As you drop the knees over to the right, take your gaze over the opposite shoulder. Allow that breath to just glide in and out of your body. And then unfurl. And you're going to come into a halasana, plow pose, bringing your arms alongside your body. You're going to swing your knees to meet your head. Then place your hands either side of your spine as you reach your toes behind you. Now, if your toes touch the earth with no problem, you can release your hands and maybe straighten your arms and hands into a fist. Otherwise, keep your hands on your back to support and protect your neck. Take 5 more breaths here. Feeling like you can push your heels away from your fist and open up space in the back of the legs. And then release your hands and slowly unfurl the spine, using your arms as brakes. Allow each vertebrae its time to unravel. When your legs touch the ground, keep your heels together. Place your hands into the earth and just take counter pose in fish pose, lifting your head and heart, dropping the back of your neck to open up your throat. Take 3 deep breaths in here as you try and arch the heart to the heavens. And maybe drop your tongue out in lion's breath as you release everything that's left that causes you tension. Breathing in. Inhale. Breathing in. Letting it go. And slowly bring your chin to your chest. Congratulations, you've made it to Shavasana. If there's any last few minute movements that you wish to integrate, feel free to go ahead and do that now. You wish to place a cushion underneath your knees to release any pressure in your lower back, feel free to go ahead and do that now. And then Whenever you've chosen a restful position, just let go of the breath, let go of your attempt to control the breath, just let it pour out. Watch the natural rise and fall from the belly. No effort, just observation. So when all around you feels uncertain and you're grasping for something to trust, come back to the breath. Notice that even the breath does not fear that space in between. It does not panic in the pause. It trusts that after every exhale, a breath in will return. And after breathing in for a period, it trusts that it will have a time to let go. Allow your whole body to go. Now, Shavasana is one of the most important parts of your practice, as it's the rest time to consolidate all of the activity, to turn action into muscle memory, so that your body can learn from the practice. Your body can grow from the activity. So you can stay here a little while longer as you wish. Or for those of you who feel like they've come to the end of their practice, feel free to slowly peel yourself back up into seated pose. Bring your left hand to your heart to soften the heart. Bring your right hand to your belly to soften the belly. Breathing in, notice you're breathing in. Breathing out, notice you're breathing out. Taking whatever it is that you need to carry forward from this practice and sealing it over your heart. As we bow in gratitude for all the teachers, past, present, near, far, the strangers, the friends that have led us here today to practice today. Namaste. A lovely week and a lovely rest.